Thank you, Mr. Cole, and good morning, class of 2013, Bridgton Academy faculty, and trustees, family and friends, and honored guests. And to all the mothers here today, happy early Mother's Day. Our time here at BA started August 25th. For most of us, that morning consisted of an early start. Last-minute packing and saying goodbye to siblings and friends who weren't coming along for the trip. Then, without warning, we were in our cars, on our way to North Bridgton, Maine. I can only speak for myself, but I am willing to bet that the majority of us were thinking, holy crap. What the heck am I doing? Is it too late to turn around? To go to regular college? To work? Is there any chance I'm going to see a girl in the next 9 months? Even though, for my family and me, coming back to BA in many ways was a lot like coming back home, I promise you I had these very same feelings. You see, my dad is a BA alumnus from class of 1983 who returned to BA to teach and coach, meaning yes, in the words of Mr. Webb, I was a dorm brat. I ruled the first floor of Holt Hall on my tricycle. I would have ruled the second floor had I figured out how to get my red trikey up the stairs. I remember Doreen's patience with me as she allowed me to assist her in the disgusting task of cleaning Holt Hall. I remember Mr. Gately and his family. I feel terribly that Megan, Mr. Gately's daughter, has only memories of me screaming and crying as she desperately tried to stop me while she babysat me. To this day, one of my family's favorite parts of coming back to Bridgton is catching up with the Gately family. In fact, I can almost guarantee I'll be the last one on campus as they insist on staying and reminiscing for hours. I remember the Dailies, specifically the Daily boys. I distinctly remember hiding in a hut in the backyard of Edward's house, playing soldiers with Patrick, Tom, and Mike. Patrick and I hid in the hut as his two older brothers were on a search and destroy mission to find us. It's unbelievable to know that I eluded 2 future Green Berets for so many hours. A skill I have yet to figure out how to use in any other context. I came back to Bridgton because of them. I came anxious to immediately reconnect the community I had experienced. However, this time around, it took a little longer than I had anticipated. The first days of preseason were hot, and for lack of a better word, miserable. People were quiet, wishing they could be doing anything other than getting ready for a training session, putting pads on, or preparing for Hell Day. After a few days, I noticed people starting to get slightly more comfortable with one another. When 2 unfamiliar faces would awkwardly meet at the bottom of the hill next to Holt to walk up to the gym or to the dining hall, there was no escaping the inevitable conversation to follow. Man, it is so hot. Or my personal favorite, hey, how about this bleeping hill? The uncomfortable moments made up about 95% of my first few interactions with people who weren't on the soccer team or from Potter House. At the top of the hill, we would go our separate ways, and that was that. After a few weeks, things changed, and people started to feel more comfortable with one another, especially within their respective teams or groups of friends. And with that little progress came a huge wave of camaraderie, that feeling of brotherhood we had all in our heads accused the faculty of exaggerating to us about in chapel. I didn't even hear Taylor Hughes talk until at least mid-October. Now, not only is Taylor one of my good friends, but he is by far the loudest individual I think I've ever met. Over the year, there were good days and bad days. There were easy days, hard days, and harder days. I remember sitting in study hall one night in October, trying to do my homework, and something my dad always said to me kept popping into my mind. It's the people that make the place. Sitting there in study hall, I kept repeating the phrase in my head, it's the people who make the place. I sat, and I thought, all right, I get this. My teachers are pretty cool. Mr. Doobie and Coach Perrin aren't half bad either. I think I get what my dad is talking about. However, it's not until now that I know I hadn't a clue what my dad was talking about. The long days of double sessions, and even longer, colder, darker days of winter wouldn't have been nearly as easy to get up for if we didn't have such an amazing group of people here at Bridgton Academy. Sure, our facilities may not be as nice as some other schools, but it's the people that make the place. It's the people that separate and elevate Bridgton above all the rest. It's the review sessions the night before a test with Mr. Gately, outlining a study guide with Mr. Horn, seeing Mrs. Shute in the Academic Support Center, or just dropping by to say hello to Mr. Katz. It's Joe Daly in his truck, racing up Chadbourne Hill, something you hear long before you see. The list goes on, and the amount of support available to us has been endless and given to us by any and every faculty member whenever we needed it. It's the people that make the place. Teacher contributions make that mantra true, and without them, BA would not be the special place that it is. However, I believe it is student contributions that make this mantra come alive. At Accepted Students Day in Boston in late July, Mr. Webb promised us we'd make some lifelong friends at BA. Every single one of us there sat and stared at each other in complete and utter disbelief. Well, Mr. Webb, you were most certainly right. This year would not have been the year it was without each and every one of us. Friendships were formed and a brotherhood was created. We are the class of 2013, the newest inductees into the fraternity of BA alumni. We made this year the year that makes the difference. And I believe it is important to remember, wherever you are, that it is the people who are the foundation of any place. And in the end, what I will miss most about BA are the people. In our last chapel talk of the year, BA trustee Tim Armour said it took him a great deal of time to appreciate everything Bridgton had given him. And that extra time may be needed for many of us. I know I will wear Bridgton on my sleeve proudly as I move through life. I will always contribute positively, trying to recreate an atmosphere like BA, one where people make the place. I hope you all will too. Thank you, Bridgton, and good luck to class of 2013.